Hey there everyone, the day is finally here. Gemini 3 Pro is released. Is Sonnet 4.5 finally going to get defeated? GPT 5.1 tried it. Kimi K2 tried it. Quen 3 Max Thinking tried it. Nobody was able to defeat Sonnet 4.5. Is today the day? Let's find it out. Let's first start with comparing the pricing. If you look at Sonnet 4.5, it is $3 per million input tokens and $15 per million output tokens. Gemini 3 Pro, on the other hand, sees a price increase from Gemini 2.5 Pro. If you see 2.5 Pro, it was $1.25 per million input tokens and $10 per million output tokens. But now that has changed. We see a slight bump with $2 per million input tokens and $12 per million output tokens. We see more increase in the input token side. Who is going to be the king of coding? Currently, the best backend coding and the best front-end coding is Sonnet 4.5. Is that going to change today? Let's find it out. As you can see, Gemini 3 Pro is towards my right and Claude Sonnet 4.5 is towards my left. Both are set at high thinking levels. Any custom prompt is not used so that the competition is fair. Let's get into the testing. So first up, we are asking them to create a new Brutalist style web page. So this is all those funky, random kind of websites that you see on the internet, which focus more on raw chaotic design. So when you will see the responses, you will understand what it really means. By the way, you can pause and have a look at the prompt to better understand what I'm trying to say. Having said that, let's send this to both of them. Okay, we have got the responses, guys. Let's start off with Sonnet 4.5. So we'll preview this on our new page. This is what we have. Construct. We build brutal digital experiences. I do like this style that it has come up with brutal. You can see these rectangles kind of floating. I absolutely love it. We have start, project, and view our work. We have this banner going on. Services that make an impact, web design, branded. You can have a look at these applets that have been designed and numbers over them looks absolutely awesome. Sonnet 4.5 is very good, guys. Then project that speak volumes, and these are the projects. We also have testimonials, and you can see they change, and there is a flash kind of effect which I like, which is fitting to the scenario that we have over here. And we have a contact form and the footer. So all in all, it is nice. I personally like this one. This floating cubes makes the website feel lively. Let's keep this aside and let's try Gemini 3 Pro. So we'll preview this, and this is what we have. Again, you can see here as well, we have this floating kind of implementation. The circle is kind of following the cursor, I guess, and here also the cube is kind of floating. We have a banner at the top, which is a scrolling banner. Nice. You can have a look at this navigation bar. Also, the cursor is mapped into a plus icon. That is awesome. If I try to select anything, guys, you can see it is not the normal way. Actually, the colors change. We have execute protocol and read docs. If I click execute protocol, then it kind of vanishes. Let's keep that aside. Core philosophy, and again you can see the similar numbered kind of structure over here, but I would say Sonnet did a better job at this particular section. Let's move ahead. Asset management, firewall logic and stuff. You can see how they kind of pop up. That is nice. You can also look at when we try to press these buttons, they go up and down. Very nice. Have a look at this. If I hover over the title, it kind of jitters. Very nice. System terminal. We have a terminal here, guys. Let's try any command. Let's try help. Okay, if we click help, it says the commands that we have is help, clear, invert, date, destroy. So let's try clear then. Okay, it clears the terminal. Let's try invert. If I click invert, the whole page changes, guys. The colors of the whole page changes. So this terminal is actually controlling the website. So let us again click invert. It should come back to its original colors. Awesome. I think we had few more options. Let's click help. Okay, we have date. So we'll clear and we'll hit date. It says the date, and I think it is indeed the correct time. So let's hit clear, and I think there was one more command, destroy. I wonder what it does. So we'll clear and we'll hit destroy. Cannot destroy the indestructible. That is nice. All in all, both have given us a very good response. So we'll have to do a bit more digging down. So let's look at Sonnet 4.5 again. In this narrow view, you can see we have a progress bar at the very top. As you can see, I'm kind of scrolling and you can see this yellow bar going forward and backward. That is nice. The menu implementation is very nice, but you can see it is one over the other. I don't know if it was an design choice. It looks good though, but that is there. You can see the whole thing is stable. Nothing is broken in this narrow view as well. The testimonials is also good. We have the contact form and stuff. Talking about Gemini, you can see the menu is not collapsible. It is a design choice that Gemini 3 Pro has chosen, and again we have those rectangles that are floating and circle. I think the menu should have been collapsible because now you can see it is kind of obstructing our view. So all in all, it's a very tough choice between both of them because I personally Absolutely love this terminal that Gemini 3 Pro built, but Sonnet's response you can see feels more fuller because it has testimonials like a page, contact information, a contact box, whereas we see just a simple implementation in Gemini 3 Pro. So both have done a very good job, but I think personally I would give a point to Sonnet 4.5 because it has more functional things that we asked for, but your decision can vary. So with a very slight margin, it is a win for Sonnet 4.5. Let's move on to the next one. Now they have to build a stunning yet elegant looking landing page for a plant nursery whose name is Susan Rose. So they have to understand the nature of the business and what kind of website and design choices would be good for such kind of a business. So it involves creativity and will show how these models are good at understanding the requirements of any business. You can pause and have a look at the prompt. Let's send this question to both of them. Okay, we have the responses. So let's start off with Sonnet 4.5. So let me load this and we have a very good fade in effect. That is insane. Guys, Sonnet 4.5 is a very good model. So it says cultivating beauty since 1987. You can see plant kind of emojis going up and down. That is nice. Let's scroll our promise and it has used some emojis and it looks good. Our collection and these are the plants that they have. It has used emojis for it growing together and again it has testimonial section. So Claude Sonnet 4.5, if you ask it to make any kind of web page, it makes sure that it includes testimonials, which is very nice. And it says visit our nursery and it has used some emojis over here and we have the contact form. So now we can actually get an idea that when you ask Sonnet 4.5 to generally design a web page, it will try to include contact form and all things that are required for such a business. Maybe Gemini doesn't do it, but we'll have a look. You can see we have the navigation bar and when we hover over them, there is a line that appears. All in all, nothing special, guys, I have to say, because it looks good. It has a calming feel. It ticks all the check boxes, but it looks like a simple website, isn't it? So I think now Gemini surely has a chance to take the spot, but it has to come up with a good response. So let's preview this. Okay, this is something that I like. Now you can see instead of horizontal bars, we have a vertical split, and this looks more like a custom built website. So we have collection, philosophy, workshops, contact. When we hit explore the nursery, you can see this button kind of fills up. And there is a very good quote over here: cultivating serenity for your home. We don't just grow plants, we curate living art pieces that breathe life into your sanctuary, grown with patience, rooted in love. That is nice. Let's scroll. If we scroll, this is what we see: rooted in tradition, growing for tomorrow. I do personally like this kind of style that it has come up with. This two cubicles and images within it. You can see, as far as I have seen now, I can say that it looks more professional. It is not absolutely doing tens and thousands of things, but it looks a bit professional. But before judging, we'll have to scroll down more. Let's see weekly arrivals. So it was not able to fetch images over here, but this was able to be fetched. All in all, a simple yet elegant design. Okay, this is nice. This is nice. Wait. If I scroll, you can see there is a background image that stays in its place and the whole page is kind of changing. Very nice. I love it. To plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. We have a very good quote over here. I particularly like this design, guys. Absolutely insane. Landscape design, book a consultation. So all in all, guys, if we look at the full web pages, I think Gemini is better, but let's look at the narrow down view. So if we narrow down Sonnet 4.5, we have the menu over here and okay, here I think these menu icons are very small. They could have been better. I do like this change of the menu button. It changes into a cross. If we scroll down, we have all these things that are stable. You can see when we talk about Sonnet 4.5, it looks kind of, made by a intern or something like that. It checks all the boxes, but it is not that polished. Let's look at Gemini's response when we narrow it down. So we don't have any kind of menu over here. If we scroll down, you can see the Susan Rose title stays and the header kind of has less opacity. We are able to see through it. That is nice. Let's scroll down. I do particularly like this. So what can we say? Who is the winner? Well, I think Gemini 3 Pro has actually did something that is not too generic. This vertical split is something that I like. This particular design also looks good. This background image. If you give this web page to any person, I think they will pick Gemini 3 Pro. Reason is that it looks more professional and this kind of business doesn't need a lot of things happening on the website. So I think Gemini 3 Pro was better in this one. It is a win for Gemini 3 Pro. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we are asking them to create a web app, specifically a trading dashboard with all the tick by tick updating charts, different time frames, indicators and all of that. So it is kind of hard. Not many models are able to do it other than Sonnet 4.5. Let's see how they do. So let's send this and we'll wait for the responses. Okay everyone, we have got the responses. Let's start off with Sonnet 4.5. Let's preview this in a full screen and this is what we see. Okay, we do have the chart over here. Let me bring it into view. You can see it is updating, but we shouldn't see this dark rectangles that we have. The original candles is nice, but this dark rectangle shouldn't have been there. Maybe that is volume, I guess. Volume is kind of getting overlapped. Is there any option to disable volume? Maybe there isn't. So the chart in itself is actually nice. You can see different time frames are working. We have line chart, and here you can see the difference between the volume and the actual chart. We have area chart, bar chart. We have various stocks. That is nice. I'm trying to click the indicator button, but no indicators. I'm able to scroll up and down. Let's try to place an order. We'll enter any amount and we just hit place order. It says insufficient balance. Okay, we'll just then have one amount then. Okay, now an order was placed and now you can see the PLN is updating live. That is nice, but I have to say the chart is not that good. Also, I don't see any kind of indicators and stuff. Let's keep this aside and let's try Gemini now. Let's open up and okay, this is what we see. This exactly looks like trading view, guys. I'll have to say that this exactly looks like trading view. We have the crosshair, we have line chart, area chart, hollow candles. The view is absolutely awesome. 5 minutes, 15 minutes and 1 hour. We also have various tools, but I'm not able to use them. So I think there is some fixes that have to be done in both of them. So we'll give the feedback to both of these models and we'll look at the updated response that they generate. So let's move on to the second iteration. Okay, we have the responses. Let's start off with Sonnet 4.5. We'll preview this and this is what we have. Okay, the chart is kind of broken, I guess. It is just a U. It shouldn't have been like this because real charts I think are not like this. It was better previously, but it kind of made it worse. We are able to change the time frame. That is nice. We are able to place buy and sell orders. So previously we were able to place buy orders, but now it is not working. We can toggle volume now. We have Bollinger Bands. We have moving average. So all the things are there, but the chart is kind of broken. Let's keep this aside and let's try Gemini now. We'll preview this in a new page and this is what we have. It absolutely looks like trading view. For a few seconds you might even think that this is the original one, not a copy of it. So we have SMA 20, we have EMA 50. We should have had the option to change the period as well. Anyways, we have 5 minute, 15-minute chart and stuff. Let's see this time around if we are able to draw any lines on it. So this is one line that I'll draw. Okay, let us leave it here and you can see the line persists and it is able to draw. I think we are also able to draw rays. Let's leave it like this and you can see it is working. Other than that, we don't have any more tools to draw. We have buy market and sell market. Let's hit buy and actually a trade has been started, I guess. You can see the buy line over here. It will be small, but I'll try to zoom it. So a buy trade has started and you can see the live PNL right at the bottom. In the recent trades, you can see the trade we just made. Let's square this off. And now you can see the live PNL is also accurate. So according to the situation, we should be in a profit and that is what we see over here as well. So let's square this off and you can see all in all it is working, guys, and it is miles better than what Sonnet 4.5 has come up with. A clear win for Gemini 3 Pro. Let's move on to the next one. So now they have to create a stunning and detailed single page HTML website that uses scrollytelling. So these kind of animations you might have seen in websites like Apple where you scroll and things kind of move here and there. So that kind of motion they have to build, but now planets in the solar system, and it should be a great way to make an educational website and it also should look good. I have the whole prompt over here. You can pause and have a look. Having said that, let's send this to both of them and let's see what they come up with. So you can see this is the whole prompt. Okay, we have the responses. Let's start off with Sonnet 4.5. We'll preview this in a new page and this is what we see. Solar system. I do like the reveal effect that it had. Let's scroll down. We have the sun. You can see again these Claude models try to inclined towards SVG implementation instead of fetching the images, but it's nice. We see the sun and all the facts about it. We have Mercury. I do like the sun is on one side, the Mercury is on the other side, so they are switching places. Nice. Then we have Venus. Again, you can see Sonnet has implemented a progress bar, so there are some traits that follow through even though you change the prompt. So we have the Earth. I do like that it is kind of floating if you look closely. We have the Mars, Jupiter, Saturn is also nice. The SVG implementation is nice. Uranus and Neptune. So it is done. A similar kind of response that we see from any anthropic model. Let's look at Gemini 2.5 Pro. So we'll preview this in a new page. It says solar system, a scrollytelling odyssey. We have the scroll option and you can see the star trails are kind of going upwards. That is nice. Now we have the sun. You can see it is kind of rotating. We have Mercury. We have Venus. It was able to fetch the images. We have Earth. And you can see as I scroll, they are kind of rotating. You can see Earth now. If I scroll up and down, you can see it kind of rotate. We have Mars, Jupiter, here. Saturn. Okay, Saturn image is kind of messed up because we have the image and it also has tried to implement the SVG implementation for the rings. Let's move ahead. Uranus and Neptune. Both the responses are good, so let's see them in narrowed down view. Okay, maybe that will give us some differences. So this is the narrowed down view of the page. If I scroll down, you can see the glow is here, but sun is down here. So this is kind of messed up. Here there is just faint glow. This should have been behind sun, but this is kind of messed up. And you can see Mercury should have been down. You can see this gap over here. This is a useless gap. Again, you can see with Venus, there is a gap over here and the planet is down there. And you can see similar kind of behavior in rest of the website as well. So let's see Gemini now. We'll scroll down. We have the sun. Okay, it is correctly placed. The image, the Mercury, Venus, Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. So nothing seems to be broken over here. So with a slight margin, again I have to say Gemini 3 Pro takes the win over here. Let's move on to the next one. Now they have to create a simulation of a rocket launch. Gemini models have been very good at this. I'm wondering what Gemini 3 Pro will do. You can pause and have a look at the whole prompt. So let's send this and let's see what we get. Okay everyone, we have got the responses. Let's start off with Sonnet 4.5. We'll preview this in a new page. Okay. The detailed on the rocket is actually nice. Let's initiate the launch. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and lift off. So it is going now. You can see it shows moon as the target. The rocket is nowhere to be found. Okay, now it just blew past it and it says successful lunar landing. Let me show you this once again. It is actually funny. So now you just see it just goes through it and now it says landing is successful, but the rocket is still in space, so it is not implemented correctly. It's time for Gemini now. We'll preview this in a new screen and okay, initiate launch. It says hold spacebar or touchscreen to thrust. So I'll hold the spacebar and the rocket is going. It is entering this space and I think it should now come to moon. Okay, it says critical failure. Velocity too high at impact. Okay, so it has tried to implement a game kind of thing where I have to, I have to get the correct speed so that it lands perfectly, but that shouldn't have happened. So both didn't do that well and I think I'll give a fail to both of them in this particular question. This does show that there is still room for improvement and Gemini 3 Pro is not AGI or anything like that. Let's move on to the next one. Now we'll move on to some games. We'll ask them to generate some games. Let's see. So the first one is create the best implementation of the game Angry Birds from Rovio Entertainment, released in 2009 in HTML, CSS and JS and in one single code. So let's send this and let's see what they come up with. Okay, we have got the responses. Let's start off with Sonnet 4.5. We'll preview this in a new page and this is what we have. You can see the 3 pigs. They should be on the platforms, but they are on the ground. Anyways, let's try to hit them. So I have pulled the slingshot and I'll release it. Okay, again, we have the same problem. I mean, if you are a long-term viewer of this channel, you might be knowing that, in this particular question, generally Claude models, for some weird reason, have very less slingshot power. So that seems to be the only issue, I guess. So even if I try to increase the power, it says game over. So we can restart the game. All in all, the design looks all nice. Let's keep this aside and let's try Gemini now. Okay, so this is what we have. If you closely look at the red Angry Bird, it actually looks like the original one. So design and aesthetics are very nice. Now I'm able to understand why this model was blowing up. If you look at SVG implementations, I think this model is going to be the king of it. So we have the 3 pigs and kind of boxes over here. Let's pull slingshot and let's release it. Okay, it does hit them, but okay, now the board has reset. Let me try it once again. Let me release the slingshot. It doesn't say game over or anything like that. It just resets with a new board, whereas Sonnet's response seems to be more fuller, but the slingshot power is less. So let's fix this. Let's come up with the second iteration. Okay everyone, we have the updated responses. Let's look at Sonnet 4.5 now. We'll preview this in a new page and this is what we have. We have the 3 pigs and if I pull back the slingshot, it goes back, and if I release it, okay, it hits. I think we have 2 more birds. Let's hit it. I have only 1 bird left. I think I'll not be able to make it. Let's try to hit it. Okay, it says game over. So it's kind of difficult for me, but the game is working. That is nice. Let's look at Gemini now. So we'll preview this. Okay, this is what we have. So right off the back, you can see the staff is in the air. It should have been down, but I think in some levels of Angry Birds maybe it is up. I don't know, but I think it is the first level. This is the start of the game. It should have been down. We are able to, okay, I have pulled back the slingshot. Let's see if we release it. Okay, so you can see the one of the pig is still safe, but it says level cleared. Also the pig should have been eliminated and that doesn't happen. We still see the pigs and it says level cleared. So I think comparatively, I think Sonnet 4.5 was better at this thing. So we'll give this a win to Sonnet. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we are asking them to create the Microsoft Flight Simulator game released in August 18, 2020, one of the most iconic games in chase camera view and in a 3D environment. So we'll send this prompt and let's see what they do. Okay, everyone, we have the responses. Let's start off with Sonnet 4.5. We'll preview this in a new page and it's loading Flight Simulator 2020 and this is what we have. You can see the body is kind of messed up. I mean, the wings are not connected, but we do have the turbines. You can change the view. Absolutely insane. I'm able to freely rotate it and you can just look at the beautiful map Sonnet 4.5 has generated. We can move up and down. Let's go closer to those trees. So now you can see we are very close to the trees. Let's move up now. Let's go to the clouds. Okay, so we are up in the clouds now and you can now appreciate the whole view of the entire environment that this model has created. Awesome response from Sonnet 4.5. Nice. It's time for Gemini 3 Pro. So we'll preview this and initiating. What did it say? Let me try it. Okay, so initializing avionics and this is what we have. Okay, it does look different, I have to say. All models kind of gave a response that looked more like Sonnet. This one looked different. Okay, now I'm not able to correctly steer the plane. The plane in itself looks good, but okay. Now we are still in the view, I guess. Okay. Let's move down. So there is a lot of haze in this environment. Kind of too much of mist, I can say. That is the reason we are not able to see anything. We are only able to see if we get closer to the ground or to the mountain. You can see if I try to rotate after a while, the flight kind of tries to make a spin. So I think this shouldn't have happened and I don't know where I am. So there is this issue. So I think comparatively I have to say that Sonnet's response looks better and also functions better. The plane's wings are not there, but other than that, the environment and the movements and everything, I think it was better with Sonnet 4.5. By the way, guys, let me tell you, it is a tie up until this point. It is 3 points for both of them. It is a tough competition that is going on between these two models. Anyways, let's move further to clear this out. So next up is, can you draw a dragon in a web page using HTML, CSS and JS? Show side view of the dragon and give your best implementation in one single code. So this is the dragon question. Let's see what we get. Okay everyone, we have the responses. Let's look at Sonnet 4.5 first and this is what we have. So you can see, as always, Sonnet gives us a very good response, but I think we'll have to look at each and every detail. So this is the head, the nose. You can see the nostril is actually expanding and contracting. That is nice. The neck, body, tail, toes, and everything. The moon is also there. The wings implementation I don't like that much. I'll have to say that. And you can see the dragon emoji. So Sonnet and Claude models are very eager to use emojis in their responses. We have been seeing this since the beginning of this test. And as talking about the response, it is good as expected. Let's move on to Gemini 3 Pro. So this is what we have. Okay, it is moving with my cursor, guys. That is insane. Let's breathe fire. Okay, it is breathing fire. It seems to be coming out of its from the back side of its head. Guys, you have to clearly look at the implementation of the wings. It is spot on. It is where it should be. You can have a look at the toes, the tail as well, the mouth. I know it looks a bit different and you might think that it's not that good, but I think it is a different design choice. You can't argue that any of the thing is missed out. The neck is correctly implemented, the body is correctly implemented, everything is connected. Even if you can look at the toes, they are correctly fitted to the body. The head is also correctly implemented. So it is going to be a tough one. I don't know which one to choose. I think Gemini is better because the design choice is completely different, but it looks more coherent. So I think I'll give this win to Gemini because this following my cursor thing is absolutely insane and the placement of the wing is also accurate, unlike Sonnet 4.5. So I'm nitpicking over here, guys. Both have given us a very good response, but comparatively, I think Gemini is better. Next up, build the absolute best implementation of Super Mario Bros., the original and the most iconic game from the Nintendo Entertainment System, in a web page without using any external assets and in one single code. So let's end this and let's see what we get. Okay, we have got the responses. So let's start off with Sonnet 4.5. We'll preview this and it says Super Mario Bros. 1985 Nintendo. Page to start. Okay, it looks very small and it's towards the top left corner, but if I try to see it with a zoomed view, I think it looks better. Let's see if I'm actually able to complete the game. Then we'll ask it to fix it. Okay, we are able to complete the game, as you can see. So we'll ask it to fix it. Meanwhile, let's look at Gemini, what Gemini has created. So it says enter to start. Okay, this is what we have. It looks good. If you saw the power up, actually it was very analogous to the actual game. Let's take some coins and this power up as well. Let's move ahead. Okay, so there's nothing else here in the front. As you can see, I don't want to fall. So the response from Gemini and also from Sonnet 4.5 both need an upgrade. So let's give them their feedbacks and come up with the second iteration. Okay, we have the updated responses. Let's look at Sonnet 4.5, Super Mario Bros. Pace to start. And this is what we see. You can see the Mario looks like the actual Mario from the game. We see the power up as well, and if I take the power up, I increase in size, and also I think the clothing also changes as like the original game. Now Sonnet 4.5 is at its peak. This is the best response that I've seen from Sonnet. Let's move ahead. We'll take this coins. So now you can see, we see the flag. If I cross it, it says congratulations, you have completed world 1-on-1. So that is an awesome response, and Sonnet shows you that it is not going to get defeated so easily. Having said that, let's look at Gemini 3 Pro. So click to start, and this is what we have. Okay, it says game over. I think I'll have to try it again. Let's try this again. I'll click to start and it says game over. Okay, so I asked for an updated response, and here you can see now it is working. Okay, now we see the flag. If I cross it, you can see we enter the castle and it says you win. So it is nice. It was able to fix its issues, but I think Sonnet was better. It did it in less iterations, and also it was, I think, more better. So this is a win for Sonnet. So we did a lot of front end questions. Finally, we'll be doing a test of music generation, and after that we'll be moving on to backend. Meanwhile, if you're enjoying this video, please do hit the like button, subscribe and hype this video so that more and more people are able to watch it. So the question is, generate the most epic music with musical notations alongside it that you can in HTML, CSS and JS and in one single code. Let's see what we get. Okay, we have the responses. Let's try it out. So we'll first look at Sonnet 4.5. We'll preview this in a new page, and here we go. Play epic music. Okay, so it does sound like a calming music. It is nice. Let's stop this. A nice response from Sonnet 4.5 showing that even this model is good. Let's look at Gemini now. I would suggest you to put on your headphones so that you are able to hear the minute details as well. Okay, so I think Gemini has went for a different style, and it has more details and nuances compared to Sonnet 4.5. So I'll say that's a win for Gemini 3 Pro. Now let's test some Python based questions. The question is, write a Python code for a hollow circle with an opening. There are 2 balls inside it, and whenever a ball exits, 2 new balls appear. So you guys know it. It should be easy for these 2 models, but let's see. Okay, we have the responses. Let's start off with Sonnet first. We'll copy the code, we'll paste that and we'll run it. Okay, we do see 2 balls, and as you can see, when a ball exits, 2 new balls appear. Let's see if the system remains stable when there are a lot of balls. Now you can see the number of balls is increasing significantly, but we don't see any kind of clumsiness or anything like that. The number of balls is also increasing. So nice, it is a working response. Let's look at Gemini now. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. Okay, we do see balls, and when a ball exits, 2 new balls appear. That is nice. Let's wait for it to get a bit crowded. So now you can see it is working and we don't see any kind of clumsiness, but there is an issue. The total number of balls is not exceeding 101, but that shouldn't happen because whenever a ball exists, 2 new balls are appearing, so it should get crowded eventually, which is not happening, and this is the first time I'm seeing any issue like this, so I don't think it's a win for Gemini 3 Pro. It is a win for Sonnet 4.5. Let's move on to the next one. So the prompt is write a Python program that simulates Earth's rotation. So they should show the Earth rotating and the moon revolving if possible, and the landforms and everything should be visible. It is a comparative analysis, and I hope we see good results from both of them. So let's send this. Okay, we have the responses. Let's start off with Sonnet 4.5 now. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. And this is what we see. So I think you are able to see the landforms. There is more land than water. The moon is also rotating a bit faster, but I think it could benefit with more points. As you can see, it is not that dense. We are able to see the individual circles. If it were more dense, then I think it would be better. So let's keep this aside and let's try Gemini now. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. And okay, so it's similar kind of response, guys. Again, we see a lot of points and we are able to distinguish the individual points. That's the reason when I zoom out, only then it's looking good. So nothing more to say. We'll give the feedback to both of them and come up with updated responses. Okay, we have the updated responses. Let's have a look. We'll paste that and we'll run it. And this is what we see. So you can see comparatively it's more high res now, but there is no landform. Actually, I mentioned in the prompt that there is a lot of landform and very less water body. So fix that and you can see Sonnet 4.5 has went overboard and made everything water. So this is something that you should be aware of Sonnet 4.5. It has this kind of behavior, where it overdoes a lot of stuff, even more than what you ask for. I have observed this in agentic coding as well, and some part of it is visible here as well. So let's keep it aside and let's try Gemini 3 Pro. So we'll copy the code, we'll paste that and we'll run it. And this is what we see, and it looks awesome. The land masses and stuff, it looks high res. I have to say that the atmosphere is not correctly implemented. I have to say that. Other than that, everything else looks awesome. You can see the lights in the night side. All in all, it's a better response. So it is a win for Gemini. So even in the back end, it is a tie for now, 1 point for each. Let's see how things change. Let's move on to the next question. Now we'll ask them to generate the game Pac-Man, released by Namco in 1980, one of the most successful video games of all time in Python and in one single code. Let's see. Okay, we have the responses. Let's start off with Sonnet 4.5. Let's copy the code, paste that, and let's run it. Okay, it says Pac-Man, any key to start. And we are able to see the Pac-Man, the ghosts as well. We also have power pellets, but I don't think the ghosts are actually following me, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm not able to figure it out. Also, the Pac-Man mouth is not opening. That is something that we have to take into consideration. Maybe we'll have to compare based on the level of difficulty, I guess, if I get a similar kind of response. So it is easy to win. We were able to win in Sonnet's response. Let's try Gemini 2.5 Pro now. We'll paste the code and I hope it runs. Let's run it. This is what we see. The Pac-Man is opening its mouth. Let's see if you're able to take all the pellets. As you can see, there is no power pellet here. That is strange. Okay. I have to go out from here. It feels a bit difficult on Gemini's response. Okay, and I was not able to complete the game. So there is no power pellet over here, whereas there was power pellets in Sonnet's response. But when it comes to Sonnet's response, I think the ghosts were not following us, and whereas in Gemini's response, it does feel that ghost is kind of following us. So we'll give this a point to both of them because both were able to give us a working response. Let's move on to the next one. Now, finally, let's ask them to create a music visualizer. We will be able to add music and play it, and we'll see whose interface is actually nice. So let's send this and let's see who gives us a better response. Okay, we have the responses from both models. Let's look at Sonnet first. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. Okay, it is asking for a music. Let's see what I've got. So, okay, I have this one. Let's play this. So again, I'm not sure if it's actually following the music. It just feels like it is just randomly doing a lot of movements and stuff like that. What do you guys feel? I don't feel it's following the music, is it? So we'll keep this aside and let's try Gemini now. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. Let's select a music. We'll select the same one. Okay, now the volume is actually kind of low. We'll see if the volume increases, anything happens. Okay, now you can see the volume has increased and the bars is now full. And if you look at the circle very closely, you can feel that it is actually following the music. And now you can see the volume has been reduced and the bars is now less in height. Now it is even more clearer to understand that it's actually following the music. So it is a clear win. So finally, what can we say in the end? Who is the winner? Let's find it out, and let's go one by one and know and just see what happened. So first was the Brutalist website generation stuff. Both gave very good responses, but Claude 4.5 Sonnet was slightly better because it was having contact forms and all the stuff that such kind of a website should have, and also testimonials. That is the reason I gave a slight edge to 4.5 Sonnet. Next up was plant nursery question. Here 4.5 Sonnet gave us a website that we might expect from an intern or one who is just learning coding. It looks good, but it didn't feel polished and production ready. Whereas on the other hand, Gemini 3 Pro's response was simple and minimalist, yet it felt like it was made by someone who is professional. Talking about the trading view dashboard, the trading dashboard that we asked them to build, 4.5 Sonnet didn't do a very good job at it, whereas Gemini 3 Pro was able to do very good, and in its subsequent iteration was able to fix its issues and give us one of the best response that I seen. Talking about the solar system question, again 4.5 Sonnet went in the SVG route, which usually Claude models do. Gemini 3 Pro on the other hand used images, and I'm not comparing based on that, but all in all the visuals were better, and when we actually saw it in the narrow view, we saw that 4.5 Sonnet started to fall apart, whereas Gemini 3 Pro didn't. Talking about the rocket launch question, both were not able to give us a very good response, and I'm actually very surprised because Gemini 2.5 Pro was able to do it and 3 Pro was not able to. So it is what it is. Talking about the Angry Birds problem, again Gemini gave us a working response. The Angry Birds looked very real, but the whole logic was broken. The pigs didn't get eliminated, whereas 4.5 Sonnet was actually better. And from this point on, we were comparing games, and we saw that even in the flight simulator, which is a game, again 4.5 Sonnet was better. Talking about the dragon question, here Gemini 3 Pro, I actually gave it a win. Both gave a very good response, but personally I felt that Gemini 3 Pro had the ability to move the dragon with the cursor. The wings placement was also right. The design was very different from what 4.5 Sonnet is usually giving us, and we are kind of habituated with that. So we don't appreciate any different style, but I think Gemini 3 Pro's response was actually slightly better. It was neck and neck in this particular question. Talking about the Super Mario, again 4.5 Sonnet was better. We gave more iterations to Gemini 3 Pro, still it was not able to match 4.5 Sonnet. I think in whatever games we tested, I think it was 4 games, I guess. 4 games, in 3 of them, 4.5 Sonnet was better. So when it comes to game generation, I think 4.5 Sonnet is very good in first time generation. If you give subsequent generations, you will be able to generate with both of them. At that point, price becomes a consideration. Talking about music generation, I have given it M1 because we have already tested a lot of front end questions. Music generation, I think Gemini 3 Pro was more nuanced and had more details. If you used headphones to listen, you might have listened to that details. If not, it will be difficult. Then we move on to Python based problems. Bouncing balls is a very easy question, but still Gemini 3 Pro got an issue where the number of balls were not increasing beyond 101, whereas 4.5 Sonnet was able to absolutely nail it, as it does always. Talking about the Earth's rotation question, here Gemini 3 Pro was able to improve its issues, and the subsequent generation that it gave was very good. 4.5 Sonnet on the other hand was not able to fix the issues very nicely. I mean, it kind of went overboard. I told that the land masses were more and the water body was less, so it completely removed the land masses and there was only water body, and that is something you should be aware of when you're using 4.5 Sonnet. 4.5 Sonnet will do even more than what you asked for, which will sometimes get annoying, sometimes it will be helpful. It is true in agentic coding as well. Some of you guys were telling me in the comments that 4.5 Sonnet absolutely is bad and stuff like that. The reason is you feel like that because it is kind of overboard and does more than what is asked for. Talking about the Pac-Man question, both were very good, so I gave a point to both of them. Each had their flaws, but they made the game working. Talking about the music visualizer, Gemini 3 Pro was spot on. 4.5 Sonnet just generated random visualizations, whereas Gemini 3 Pro I think gave one of the best responses that I have seen yet. So when it comes to front end, it is a tie. We tested a lot of questions because I knew that the competition is going to be tough, so I tried to include as many questions as I can, but still it seems to be a tie. Let's do a deep dive. If you look at the whole situation in the front end, you can see that whenever it is game generation, 4.5 Sonnet seems to be doing better. When it comes to websites, generating beautiful websites, Gemini seems to be doing better. But there is one very important point that I have to say about the Gemini Gemini models. I've observed this since Gemini 2 Pro, long back. And the point is that they can be very random. I mean, you will see that Gemini 3 Pro will absolutely nail a particular situation and give you something that you will be astounded to see. But in other times, it will give you a terrible response. And I mean, you wouldn't even believe that it was generated from a model as good as Gemini 3 Pro. So this range is very broad. It can be very bad and absolutely awesome in the same time. That is the situation with Gemini 3 Pro. So that is the reason many people actually say that the responses are bad, and there are mixed kind of reviews for Gemini models. The reason is simple. I've seen it from Gemini 2 series. They are very random, and sometimes they will absolutely blow your mind, sometimes they will be very much terrible. Claude 4.5 Sonnet comparatively is a more stable model, and it is most likely to give you a working response. So the upper ceiling, I think, when it comes to pure design and aesthetics, SVG implementations that you have been seeing a lot on X and other platforms, Gemini is going to be better at it. So when it comes to my website, if I head over to my website and head over to model recommendations, I think the front end coding model is going to change with a very slight margin. It is going to be Gemini 3 Pro, and it is very slight margin. I am saying it is just I mean 199, I guess. I can see a lot of people preferring 4.5 Sonnet, and it's absolutely okay. But I think, the raw capability of Gemini 3 Pro, if you give it a lot of chances, I think Gemini 3 Pro is slightly ahead. Talking about backend, we did the bouncing balls question. It is a easy question, but still Gemini 3 Pro had an issue, as I said, and we have discussed each question. So let's look at the total. So it is 2 points for Sonnet 4.5 out of 4 and 3 points out of 4 for Gemini 3 Pro, showing that clearly Gemini 3 Pro is better. As the complexity increases, you do more and more complex stuff, Gemini 3 Pro is going to be better. You saw the music visualizer. Even in this video, even in my previous video, Claude 4.5 Sonnet hallucinated and just generated random visuals. On the other hand, Gemini 3 Pro made one of the best visualizations I've seen. It is very responsive, and this is a theme that I've seen with Gemini 3 Pro. Whether it's front end or back end, it tries to lean towards polished responses instead of doing a lot of stuff. How Claude 4.5 Sonnet gave us in the music visualizer, it was having a lot of stuff going here and there which had no meaning. Whereas on the other hand, Gemini 3 Pro, you saw that the implementation was simple. It fulfilled the purpose. We saw the same thing with the plant nursery website as well. Gemini 3 Pro's response was simple yet production ready and elegant. So that is a thing that we should respect from Gemini 3 Pro, and it is kind of a difference that you see between someone who is just learning new things and just trying to include everything in his project, whereas one who is seasoned and experienced, who knows what to have and what not to have. So I hope comparison gives you more insight on how these models compare to each other. It was a tough competition, I have to say. Till the end I didn't know who would win, and I really enjoyed this. I hope you did as well. If yes, please do hit the like button, hype this video so that more and more people are able to watch this and it actually helps them. Having said that, coding is done, but reasoning, agentic coding, all of that stuff are remaining. I'll be trying to make videos on it. Having said that, I'll catch you guys in the next one.